All right, y'all. God is good all the time. God is great. God is magnificent. I'm telling y'all, man, this is the year. Why do I say that? Because I have witnessed it with my own eyes, y'all. I'm telling y'all, this is a year, right? I see a lot of people out there caring what other people say, right? Don't, right? People out there, right, feeling shame, right, for no reason at all, right? People don't want to try, right? People don't want to go out there and do what they got to do. They don't want to go out there and grind and fail and start over again, which is what I've had to do, right? But again, right, you got to keep trying at whatever it is that you got to do, right? Even with this new position, look, I've been put in a new position that I am very thankful for, right? And it had one of those situations where God took me out of a certain position that I was in. And at the time, I was bummed out. I was like, man, I was like, dang. But then a much better position came to me, right? And now I'm doing something that I love and I'm helping transform people's lives. And essentially, I'm doing what something that I love and I'm getting paid for it. You feel me? And obviously paid pretty well if the performance is good. So I can't complain. It's crazy how things work in mysterious ways, right? And I'm just so happy, so elated right now with everything that's been happening. It's been like a miracle, right? It's unbelievable almost, right? I'm sitting here just in awe of everything that's been happening, all the great things that's been happening. And I remember when I was young, my mom used to tell me, my mom used to be like, yo, you're going to do God's work one day and God is going to pull you out of a situation, right? And you will become great. And at the time, I wasn't trying to hear none of that, right? I was out there gunning and running, right? I was living a lifestyle that was just not righteous, right? I wasn't living a righteous lifestyle. So when my mom is telling me this, whatever, and I'm just blowing it off, right? And then I caught my case, right? The last felony I got, it was actually a few combined together. And so my mom was like, she's like, watch, God's gonna take you out of this situation, right? He's gonna do something for you. And I'm like, Mom, I'm facing 6 years. There's no way I'm not about to get convicted, right? I'm going to prison, especially with my background. No ifs and or buts, right? It's just what it is. I'm going to prison, man. It's okay. It's cool. It's whatever. I made these choices, right? And I got to pay the repercussions, right? Everything comes with a consequence, right? So she's like, no, watch. You're not going to do no prison time. God's gonna look out. I'm like, wow, there's no way. I'm doing time regardless. It just is what it is, right? And I'm not gonna go into details about the case, but I'm supposed to be in prison right now, but obviously I'm out here. I'm free, right? Again, thanks to the Most High, thanks to Jah, the Creator, the one and only, that I'm out here essentially, and so it feels good. And sometimes we get reminded of those things through experiences in our lives, right? A series of events, right? And today was one of those events. It was an event to remind me. And even with that reminder, there was a blessing that came out of it. And it's crazy because so I'm getting off work. I call one of my clients. They're not picking up, and well, they're not answering back, and they're supposed to be here in a few minutes, and they didn't show up. I'm leaving, right? Since they didn't show up, right? I'm leaving, but I left a little bit early because they didn't call to confirm, right? So I come back home, and then I get a call from my job. Hey, your clients are here, and I'm like, what? I've been trying to call her and see if she was gonna show up still, and I got no reply, right? So I'm kind of confused. What's going on? And at the time, okay, whatever, let me just go back, right? And at the time, though, I remember feeling like angry, right? Very angry. And I'm like, ugh, why would she do this? She didn't confirm, and then she's going to show up at the last minute. And I shouldn't even be going back there. I should just have her reschedule. And I was very angry. But you know what? I was like, no. I took it upon myself, and I'm like, you know what? I made a promise to help this woman, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, right? And I went there, and lo and behold, she's there with this guy I used to go to high school with. And she's like, hey, this is my husband. I'm like, wow, this is the guy you were talking about? This is your husband? And I knew the guy, right? I went to high school with him. And so I'm like, oh man, what's going on? Hey, long time no see. And we're catching up, smiling and everything. And I'm like, wow, small world. Because when she first came in, right, he wasn't there. It was just her. And so she was telling me, I'm going to bring my husband. And she finally brought her husband. And then it was one of the guys from back in the day. And I'm like, oh man, what's going on? I was just so happy, right? And then so after our workout session, got them together. After our training session, I come back home. Now, I have a car that I lost the keys to, and I've been looking for these keys everywhere. I'm telling you, everywhere, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, I've been planning to finally get it fixed, but if I need the car keys, right? And I have not been able to find them anywhere, right? I thought they got lost in the pool or whatever, right? I marked it off, right? Today, after the training session, after I was like, you know what? Let me go train this woman. I made an oath. Let me be great, right? God kept me out here for a reason, right? So let me not waste that reason, right? Let me use that reason to do what I'm supposed to do to help change people's lives, right? To help people become better versions of themselves, right? I made a promise and I kept that promise, right? Even though, yes, she was late, even though she didn't confirm the appointment, I came and I turned all the way back around and went back to her to help her, right? Because that's the type of person I am, a person of integrity. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to do what's right. I'm not going to reschedule with her, right? And although we all have families, we have our own lives, right? We want to eat dinner with our family, right? Our significant other wants to spend time with us, right? We also have a role to play in different parts of lives, in different parts of life. And mine just happens to be training people, right? Helping people be healthier individuals or look better or feel better, all types of situations. But anyways, so when I went there and I decided to actually not skip out on the session and help her, and I met her husband, which I went to school with, and we caught up, and it felt great. Now I came back home, and I was looking for these keys that I had lost, the keys to my car, right? One of my cars, right? We got two cars. One of the cars I was looking for the keys, right? And I couldn't find it, right? I haven't been able to find it for a few days. And I'm looking in the other car now for the keys, and I'm looking in my lunch bag, and I'm looking outside, retracing my steps, to see if I dropped it. Nope. Lo and behold, I walk into the house, and the keys that I had been looking for are right there at the bottom of the stairs, right next to these black boots, right on the edge of the boot, though, right? The boot had fallen over, and the key was right there, almost inside of it, on the edge of the boot, black boot. And I'm like, there's no way. Ain't no way. I've been walking up and down these stairs for the last few days, me and my girl. I'm saying, been looking for these keys and everybody, and we've been searching, and we done walk up and down those stairs for the last few days, and those keys were not there, I promise you. They were not there. I flipped this house upside down to find them keys. And I didn't find them keys until today, right there on the bottom of the stairs, staring at me as I walk into the door. Right after I've made this decision to go and do what I was supposed to do, right? To not slack, right? To be a man of my word, right? To take this opportunity that God has given me to still be out here and help others reach the goals that they want to reach, right? Instead of half-assing things, excuse my language, right? Instead of cutting around the bush, instead of rescheduling, right? No, after I made this great decision, right, to be a man of integrity, a man of character, and I come back home, I find these keys right there in front of my face that I've been looking for. And I know to a lot of you guys, to some people, it may be like, oh, what? You found some keys that you lost, dog? You know what I'm saying? You lost some keys and now you found them and you're making a big deal out of it. But to me, it's more than that. I look deep into things, right? To me, it's more than that, right? To me, it's a message, right? To me, it's a message that if you fulfill what you're supposed to be fulfilling, right? If you walk a righteous path, right? If you're a man of good character, if you're a man of hard work, right? You go out there and you grind and you get it, right? You don't cut around, right? You don't slack, right? You're a hard worker. You go out there, you get it, right? You create plans. You want to do better for yourself, right? But not only that, you have integrity and you stick to your word, right? And you walk a righteous path. You do everything you're supposed to be doing, right? If you live that lifestyle, everything else will fall into place, right? And that's the power of God right there, right? And when you walk with God, it's like his power, the power of God is also with you, right? That's what it is. And so that's what I seen it as, right? When I found those keys, and when I saw those keys laying there, I'm, oh my God, wow, they're right there. And like I said, people are like, oh, you found some keys that you had lost. But no, the fact that they're sitting right there, right in front of my face, after I made a good decision, right? A decision I was supposed to be making, right? After I decided to be a righteous individual, I came back and what I was looking for was sitting right there in front of my face. I'm telling y'all, man, God is good. And so I asked my girl, I came like, babe, did you put those keys? Are you messing with me right now? Did you put those keys at the bottom of the stairs? Come on, be honest with me, please. She's like, no, I promise I didn't. Are you for real? I just found them sitting at the bottom of the stairs. She's like, really? I'm like, you didn't put those down there? She's like, no. And I'm like, wow. So anyways, just take into account, you have to be looking for these things, right? God will speak to you through messages, right? Through events like that, through experience, right? Just little things like that, right? I did what I was supposed to do, right? And I was rewarded in that same instant. I was rewarded. I found something that I had lost, right? I was given something that I was searching for, right? By being a righteous individual, right? By choosing to walk the righteous path. So, anyways, food for thought. Y'all be great. Don't be afraid. Rise up out of that shame, right? Be who you are and do not care what people think of you, right? If you need to do something to get somewhere else, right? Do it, right? If you gotta start down here to get up here, then so be it. Right? Don't ever think you gotta be ashamed of yourself. No. As long as I know who I am, as long as I'm walking a righteous path, I'm trying, at least trying to make good decisions every day. And I'm trying to provide for my family. And I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. Right? And I'm talking with God. I'm creating a spiritual connection, something higher than the physical. I have no reason to be ashamed of anything. I walk with God. I have the power of God instilled in me, right? And I use that power, I use that strength to do what I gotta do, right? And we're still climbing, we're still getting to where we wanna be, right? But it's gonna come, right? It's gonna come slowly but surely, right? I've seen people in horrible situations. I've seen people broken and they're able to put themselves back together. Not everything comes in one night at an instant. Sometimes, yes, but it's rare. Especially as men, we gotta work for our shit. I'm saying women too. Shout out to all the single mothers out there, right? Do not live in shame. Do not think you gotta be ashamed of yourself for being a single mother or for having kids at a young age or whatever. Do not be ashamed. Men, do not be ashamed for having to do what you gotta do out there to survive, right? As long as it's not something detrimental, right? As long as it's not debaucherous. But do not be ashamed of yourself. Do not be afraid. Do not be scared. Food for thought, right? Anyway, I'm tired. It's been a long day, y'all. But I had to get that off my chest, all right? And with that, I'm out of here. Y'all be good. God bless.